Hey guys, Coach Ben here from CrossFit Tigard PAW. Hey, I'm a little sweaty, just finished my Monday morning workout. It was a good one. But today I want to talk about something that's very important, something that as a CrossFit coach we all know, but not everybody that does CrossFit kind of knows about kind of the teachings and the philosophies behind CrossFit. So what I want to talk about briefly is something called virtuosity. So virtuosity is something we want to strive for really in everything. It's something we speak about in CrossFit a lot, but really just like in everyday life. Virtuosity, of course, means doing the common uncommonly well, and that's big in CrossFit. It's one thing to just do a squat, but we want that squat to be as perfect as we can. We want to try to make it better all the time. The little things are very important in CrossFit. Technique is going to save us when we're tired. It's going to keep us safe. So it's not really just enough about just doing the WOD and again, doing a squat. If you're squatting and your knees are caving in, your chest is dropping all the time, and you don't try to fix that, you're never really going to get better or as good as you could possibly be. So we need to start working on the little things yesterday so that one day they get a lot better. So even if we're already pretty dang good at something, we need to try to get even better. So that's important, again, for safety, for improvement over the long haul. But with the open coming up, you're going to have a judge. If you're doing funky stuff that messes with your range of motion, you're going to get no rep. It's going to make you mad, even though you're not supposed to get mad. Don't ever yell at your judge. They're right, you're wrong. But we need to start looking at the little things right now. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So let's talk about virtuosity again. Fixing the little things. The big things should take care of themselves, but it's those little things that are going to make us, again, better over the long haul. We did a WOD a week or two ago, I think it was last Monday, that had some handstand push-ups and some kettlebell swings and some burpees. Now, looking at these little things, they don't seem like they matter, but they do matter. And when we are virtuous, we're using a lot of discipline. And the more disciplined we are, the better we will become over time. You have to practice discipline. You have to be consistent, fixing the little things. So anyways, doing this WOD with kettlebell swings, for instance. As a coach, when I watch people, I see lots of things. It kind of depends on the movement. Things that I'm like, man, I just wish that was better. And I often will address them immediately, certainly if it's a safety issue or whatever. But little tiny things. So one thing you can't really see right now, but is picking the kettlebell up. You should never pick up a weight with a rounded back, ever. You should always be ready to go. It's just going to put you in a better position. It's going to keep you safer. The other thing we see in the kettlebell swing is people not going all the way up. Close, this is close, but we want it here, all the way up in a nice straight line, okay? And you won't probably see a kettlebell swing in the open, but they're gonna be really strict about that bottom up. So things I see in kettlebell workouts every day, people bend over, pick it up with a rounded back. It's lazy, it's not virtuous, right? They're swinging range of motion, not quite there. Get it up. The other thing we see is that kettlebell, when people are really having it tipped down, here, overhead, again, something that can be fixed right away and should be fixed. So now let's talk about handstand push-ups. So handstand push-ups are really hard. It's one of our hardest gymnastic skills. That and muscle-ups are something you're gonna see. We've seen them in the open before. You'll certainly probably see a muscle-up. But anyways, those are our two hardest gymnastics things. It's a really big deal to get, even one. They took me a while to be able to do in a workout. So if the handstand push-ups are in the open, it's not going to be very fun. Very, 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 very strict, very difficult range of motion standards to meet. If you see them, maybe they've changed it this year, but if you don't have really good handstand push-ups and you are not working super, super hard to make them really good, you're going to have a tough time in the open and just in general workouts. So, for normal purposes, kipping, handstand, strict, whatever, we want to see that head touches the ground and we are under control at the top, heels on the wall. So what we see a lot of times in handstand push-ups is people, when they kick up, they fall away from the wall. If your heels are not in contact with the wall at the top, it wouldn't count, you'd have to redo it. So kind of doing a handstand push-up but not showing control at the top is kind of doing a handstand push-up, but it's not doing a handstand push-up. So we really need to make sure that we're under control, we're having that good range of motion. We really want to own that rep at the top. So the final thing, this kills me too as a coach, is burpees. Now, we do see burpees in the open every year. You know, usually you'll have to jump and touch a target. Sometimes you'll have to jump on a plate. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's burpee over the bar. So for normal purposes in a burpee, if it's not over a bar, it's not onto something, you know, we want to get that jump. We want to open the hips all the way and clap. So chest to floor, right? And we jump and we clap overhead. So what we see is when people get tired, and this goes back to virtuosity, doing the common uncommonly well. Burpees are very common. Can you do good burpees though? And that's going down and exploding up and everything like that. But to finish your burpee, you got to clap overhead. And when we get people that are tired, they just leave the clap out. They clap low. They kind of put their hands up. They don't touch them. And that's just being lazy. That's lacking discipline. And if we want to be disciplined, if we want to get better, we have to be disciplined with ourselves all the time. So, you know, again, be virtuous in what you do. When you come in, try to move as beautifully as possible. Work on the little things because they're going to help the big things. The open is coming up. We need to have everything looking as good as possible. We want to go fast. We want to get fitter, be fitter than last year. But you need to start working on those little things, like I said yesterday. But let's start right now. Let's be virtuous in our movements and just in everyday life.